Okay, this is McKay Jenkins for Professor Matthews' Leadership and Team Building course. I'm here today with my oldest brother, Jameson Jenkins, for this leadership interview. Thank you, Jameson, for taking the time to meet with me today. A little bit of background on Jameson. He received a bachelor's in finance from Utah Valley University and a master's of finance from the University of Utah. Since then, he's been working as a director and partner at Scalar, which is a valuation firm here in Utah. I've always admired Jameson's drive and natural aptitude towards leadership, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to interview him today. Just some background for you, Jameson. I've been taking a leadership and team building course this semester, and we've been asked to select a leader whom we admire and just create a dialogue around their views on leadership and their experiences. So let's jump right in with the first question that I have for you today. So first, what have you done as a leader to help others expand their leadership footprint?
Sure. Yeah, I actually think this is probably one of the best qualities of a leader, is a leader that can not only lead and teach and direct, but also someone that can teach others to lead. Because if you do want to grow an organization or a family or whatever you want to look at, probably one of the most important roles as a leader is to teach others to lead and to have them move into that role, because then everyone is progressing and doing better.
Awesome. Okay. What does the following quote mean to you? Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yeah, seek first to understand, then to be understood. I would say it's pretty clear in the sense that you have to understand, whether you be in my profession, which is business valuation, or you're an attorney, or whatever career choice you decide to have. You have to understand the content first off. And especially leading back to leadership, if people can look at you and they know that you know what you're talking about, that really bolsters up your ability to be a leader. So it is important to understand concepts within your career, and then at that point, I forgot the exact quote, but they say that first off, you know something well if you understand it. You're an expert in it if you're able to teach people that. And so then the second part to that quote is that you need to be able to disseminate your knowledge to your subordinates and your colleagues.
So in our course this semester, we learned it's best practice to praise in public and give feedback in private. Is this something you have personal experience with as a leader?
Absolutely. So that's probably one of my favorite quotes. When you look at our business, we have a bullpen type atmosphere, in that all the associates and senior associates are just in this big bullpen. And so it's very easy to have this crowd mentality, and everyone knows everything about one another. And then we have offices off to the side. And one thing that I really try to practice is when someone does something well, if a client or an attorney reaches out and says thank you, or if there's just something really well done, I try to praise those associates and senior associates within the bullpen, let everyone know the hard work that they put into it, because there are times where these people will spend hours upon end, late nights and everything, and so praising them for that is a big piece. That being said, giving feedback is a critical piece for a manager and a leader, but there's a right place and time. It is easy sometimes to get really frustrated about something, and just want to go out and tear someone's head off in front of a bunch of people. But I think that's one of the true signs of a leader, is someone that can be collective and calm when the needs be, and then also to give feedback, but at the right times. And so I actually make it a practice to give feedback only when we're in private. And then also this doesn't have as much to do with feedback, but just no gossiping, especially as a leader, that can that can diminish your clout so quickly that it's important to just maintain, that strong.
Yeah. Okay, so Albert Einstein is quoted saying, "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them." What does this quote mean to you as a leader?
Yeah, I've never heard this quote, but I really like it. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we create them. The way I would think of this is that leaders within specific industries, so when you look at the technology industry, any industry in general, if you're doing the same thing and kind of following the same beat to the same drum for perpetuity, then you're never going to be innovative or anything like that. And we actually see that quite a bit in finance. You get a lot of the gray hair, the older people that have worked in finance for years and years, and they've kind of gotten stuck in a rut and used to what they do and how they do it. And our firm, although we are boutique with like 80 people in it, a lot of us are quite young. And instead of doing, what was previously done of, pulling out an Excel sheet and plugging in information each time, we actually a lot of times will use coding and software where appropriate. And we've been able to see incredibly high margins and just, breaking into certain spots and niches even within our industry that we wouldn't have been able to if we hadn't been doing that. So I would say that if you go into the mindset, if there's a problem and you're thinking the exact same way every time, you're really going to struggle throughout your career. And furthermore, most people's career progress, they want to become a leader. And if you're not thinking differently and trying to become innovative, then you will retard your progress.
Yeah. So in this course, we talked about intense periods of heat that leaders will inevitably go through. Can you tell me about a time you experienced an intense period of heat as a leader and how you worked your way through that?
Yeah, intense periods of heat. So, I have what some would call a type A personality, or a red personality. And most of the people that I work with do as well, both from the finance side, but then we're working with a lot of VCs and securities attorneys. And there are quite a bit of times where it's easy to get heated, to get frustrated. Now, throughout my short career, what I've really tried to learn and implement is to before speaking and then thinking, but to really think and then to speak. And this can be both internally and externally. Let's first go with the internal piece, and that's when as a manager, it is inevitable that people will do dumb things. And it's also inevitable that it will send you through the roof. I have found, for me, over the last few years, the best thing for me is if I get a notification on that, I just start doodling really quickly. And what that does is it lets me kind of think through the process and see how I'm going to broach that person or issue. On the flip side, if it's external, it's important. We've spent a lot of time to build out our brand, and a lot of business comes through referral and everything like that. So what I try to implement during intense periods of heat, whether it be discussions with auditors or attorneys that disagree or everything else like that, is that first off, I try to be very amicable in nature, trying to understand the standpoint that they're at and why they're making the argument. But then at the same time realizing that, hey, this is just a small moment in time, and even if it feels like the world is ending, to kind of keep a level head. And I've realized that people do enjoy that, and it makes, the intense periods of heat less so.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I've really enjoyed hearing what you have to say, and look forward to taking what you've said and applying some of those same leadership skills to my own leadership. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.